Learning English is more than mastering grammar rules or memorizing vocabulary. It is an experience that stretches the mind, challenges assumptions, and reshapes the way we see the world. Every new word, phrase, or idiom offers not only a tool for communication, but also a fresh lens through which to view ideas, emotions, and experiences. In learning English, we are not just acquiring a language, we are cultivating flexibility, curiosity, and an expanded sense of possibility. One of the most profound ways English learning changes our mindset is by enhancing perspective. Each language carries unique ways of expressing thought, feeling, and culture. By understanding English, we gain access to ideas, stories, and ways of thinking that may differ from our native language. This exposure encourages us to step outside our habitual patterns and consider alternative viewpoints. As our mental horizons expand, we begin to appreciate that no single perspective encompasses the entirety of reality. Learning English also encourages resilience. Language learning is inherently challenging, full of mistakes, misunderstandings, and moments of frustration. Navigating these obstacles requires patience, persistence, and a willingness to embrace failure as a natural part of the journey. Over time, this experience strengthens not only language skills, but also the mindset of perseverance. We learn that progress is incremental and that continuous effort, even in the face of setbacks, is rewarding in ways that extend beyond the classroom. English learning fosters confidence in unexpected ways. Speaking, writing, or thinking in a new language often pushes us out of comfort zones. Initially, this can feel intimidating, but as we practice and grow, we gain a sense of accomplishment. Each successful conversation, each correctly used idiom, and each new expression mastered reinforces the belief in our ability to learn, adapt, and communicate effectively. This confidence spills over into other areas of life, influencing how we approach challenges, opportunities, and personal growth. The process of learning English nurtures curiosity. Vocabulary, idioms, cultural references, and linguistic nuances all encourage questions, exploration, and investigation. We find ourselves wondering why expressions exist, how words evolved, or how language shapes thinking. This curiosity strengthens our intellectual engagement, not just with English, but with the world around us, fostering a mindset that is open, inquisitive, and eager to learn continually. Learning English reshapes how we interpret and express emotions. Some concepts or feelings may have no direct equivalent in our native language, requiring creativity and adaptation. This process trains us to be more precise, flexible, and intentional in communication. It enhances emotional intelligence, encouraging reflection on feelings, empathy for others, and a richer understanding of human experience. Language becomes a bridge not just for words, but for connection and emotional insight. Studying English also enhances problem-solving skills. Understanding grammar, idioms, and contextual meaning often involves interpretation, experimentation, and adaptation. We develop the ability to analyze situations, recognize patterns, and make strategic choices in communication. This analytical mindset becomes applicable beyond language learning, strengthening critical thinking and decision-making in everyday life. English learning encourages openness to other cultures. Language is inseparable from the cultural contexts in which it is used. By engaging with English texts, media, and conversations, we encounter diverse traditions, values, and ways of life. This exposure promotes cultural sensitivity and adaptability, fostering a mindset that is inclusive, respectful, and appreciative of difference. We learn to navigate global perspectives with understanding and empathy. The act of learning English often cultivates mindfulness. Paying attention to pronunciation, intonation, syntax, and meaning demands focus and awareness. We become more attentive not only to language, but also to communication in general. Mindfulness in language learning extends to listening actively, interpreting context, and engaging thoughtfully with others, enhancing both personal growth and social interaction. Learning English also encourages creativity. Translating ideas from one language to another, finding the right word for nuanced expression, and experimenting with style or voice stimulates imagination. Language becomes a playground where we explore multiple ways of expressing the same idea, developing flexibility in thought and originality in communication. Creativity in language learning strengthens problem-solving, self-expression, and adaptability across contexts. English learning reshapes time perception and patience. Mastery does not come instantly. It grows gradually with practice, repetition, and experience. This gradual development trains us to embrace long-term effort, to appreciate incremental progress, and to recognize the value of persistence. Patience cultivated through language learning becomes a transferable mindset, useful in education, work, relationships, and personal projects. Engaging with English media, books, movies, podcasts, and conversations also changes how we process information. We begin to notice subtleties in tone, context, and style, honing our observational skills. Learning to interpret meaning across various registers of English strengthens comprehension and critical thinking. Over time, our ability to navigate complexity improves, fostering confidence and versatility in communication. English learning often challenges perfectionism. Making mistakes is inevitable, yet mistakes are also essential learning tools. Overcoming the fear of error encourages a growth mindset where effort, practice, and reflection matter more than immediate perfection. We internalize the value of experimentation and self-compassion, realizing that errors are not failures, but stepping stones toward mastery. Through collaborative learning, conversations, group exercises, or language exchanges, we develop interpersonal skills and social awareness. Navigating misunderstandings, negotiating meaning, and building rapport in a second language enhances communication, empathy, and adaptability. English becomes a bridge not just for words, but for connection and mutual understanding. Learning English strengthens adaptability in thought. The constant shift between native and second language requires cognitive flexibility, teaching the brain to approach problems from multiple angles. This mental agility fosters open-mindedness, creativity, and the ability to adjust strategies when faced with novel challenges, whether linguistic or otherwise. Studying English also encourages self-reflection. Comparing languages, identifying patterns, and observing personal learning progress prompts deeper awareness of cognitive habits, preferences, and learning styles. We gain insight into how we think, how we express ourselves, and how we approach challenges, creating a foundation for continuous personal development. English learning fosters global awareness. Engaging with content from around the world exposes us to diverse perspectives, historical contexts, and contemporary issues. We develop the ability to synthesize information, evaluate differing viewpoints, and consider broader implications, cultivating a mindset that is both informed and empathetic. English learning nurtures resilience in communication. Misunderstandings, incomplete knowledge, or hesitation are part of the journey. Persisting through these challenges strengthens confidence, adaptability, and the capacity to engage effectively even in uncertainty. We internalize the lesson that communication is a dynamic process, one that grows with patience, practice, and curiosity. Learning English reshapes our perception of possibility. Each new word or expression opens a door to ideas we may never have considered in our native language. As our vocabulary grows, so does our ability to think in more nuanced, complex ways. The mind begins to stretch, accommodating new concepts and perspectives that would have been difficult to articulate before. By learning English, we cultivate flexibility in thought. The act of switching between languages strengthens cognitive agility, encouraging us to consider multiple ways of framing a problem or expressing an idea. This mental flexibility spills over into daily life, helping us approach challenges with creative solutions and openness to new strategies. English learning also fosters patience. Mastery is rarely immediate. It comes through practice, repetition, and reflection. As learners, we become accustomed to incremental progress, celebrating small victories while understanding that true skill develops over time. This patience shapes not only language acquisition, but also attitudes toward personal growth and achievement. The process encourages resilience. Making mistakes is inevitable in language learning, yet each error provides insight. We learn to tolerate discomfort, persist through challenges, and refine our understanding. Over time, resilience becomes a mindset, equipping us to face obstacles with composure and determination. Learning English strengthens self-awareness. By observing our own mistakes, successes, and patterns of thinking, we gain insight into how we process information and communicate. This heightened self-reflection enhances our understanding of personal strengths, weaknesses, and learning preferences, fostering more intentional growth. Engaging with English exposes us to diverse ways of thinking. Idioms, phrases, and sentence structures often reflect cultural values and worldview. By exploring these linguistic nuances, we gain a broader perspective, understanding that different languages offer different ways to interpret reality. Our mindset expands, becoming more adaptable and culturally sensitive. English learning fosters curiosity. Each unfamiliar word, slang term, or cultural reference prompts questions, exploration, and investigation. This curiosity drives ongoing learning, not only of language, but also of ideas, history, and human behavior. It cultivates a mindset that is inquisitive, open, and perpetually engaged with the world. Reading in English develops analytical skills. Understanding nuance, context, and idiomatic meaning requires careful attention and critical thinking. We learn to infer, predict, and evaluate information, strengthening cognitive skills that are applicable beyond language learning. This analytical mindset enhances problem-solving and decision-making in everyday life. English challenges habitual thinking patterns. Certain expressions or sentence structures encourage us to view situations from alternative angles. As we internalize these new ways of thinking, our cognitive flexibility increases, making us more adept at considering multiple perspectives and approaching problems creatively. Learning English encourages adaptability in social interaction. Conversing with speakers from diverse backgrounds requires negotiation, active listening, and cultural sensitivity. Through these experiences, we refine communication skills, develop empathy, and learn to respond thoughtfully in unfamiliar or dynamic situations. The process also nurtures confidence. Speaking, writing, or thinking in a second language initially feels vulnerable, yet each successful interaction reinforces belief in our abilities. This growing confidence extends to other areas, motivating us to take risks, embrace challenges, and engage with the world more boldly. Language learning fosters mindfulness. Paying attention to pronunciation, word choice, and sentence structure requires focus. This practice of attentive engagement carries into broader aspects of life, enhancing awareness, concentration, and presence in daily activities. English also sharpens memory. Remembering vocabulary, grammar rules, and idiomatic expressions exercises cognitive recall. Over time, this strengthens overall memory capacity, enhancing our ability to retain information and learn efficiently in other areas of life. Learning English highlights the value of persistence. Progress is often gradual, and fluency emerges only through consistent effort. This lesson in perseverance reinforces the mindset that dedication, routine, and patience are essential for achieving meaningful goals. Through exposure to English media, books, films, podcasts, we develop a global perspective. We encounter diverse narratives, ideas, and viewpoints that challenge assumptions and expand understanding. Engaging with different cultures and contexts fosters open-mindedness and intellectual empathy. English learning promotes self-expression. Discovering ways to articulate thoughts and emotions in a new language encourages creativity, clarity, and precision. We learn to convey ideas more effectively, enhancing confidence and communication skills across contexts. By navigating the ambiguities of English, we learn to embrace uncertainty. Words can have multiple meanings, idioms may seem illogical, and cultural references may be unfamiliar. Engaging with these complexities develops comfort with ambiguity, fostering adaptability and resilience in life. Language learning encourages reflection on personal growth. Tracking progress, revisiting mistakes, and celebrating milestones promotes self-awareness and introspection. This reflective practice becomes a habit, enriching our mindset and approach to learning. English fosters empathy through cross-cultural communication. Conversing with speakers from different backgrounds requires listening, interpreting intent, and responding sensitively. These experiences cultivate understanding, patience, and emotional intelligence, shaping a more compassionate worldview. The process encourages creativity in problem-solving. Translating ideas, finding alternative expressions, and navigating unfamiliar vocabulary stimulate innovative thinking. Learners develop the ability to approach challenges flexibly, seeing multiple pathways to solutions. English learning enhances social intelligence. Understanding nuances in tone, context, and expression helps us navigate complex interactions. Over time, we become more adept at reading cues, adapting behavior, and building rapport, enriching both personal and professional relationships. Exposure to English literature and media develops cultural literacy. We encounter historical contexts, social norms, and values embedded in language. This awareness promotes appreciation for diversity, historical consciousness, and informed engagement with global issues. The process strengthens analytical reasoning. Parsing complex sentences, interpreting idiomatic meaning, and connecting context requires careful thought. These cognitive exercises enhance critical thinking and logical analysis, skills that extend far beyond language learning. English learning cultivates patience with oneself. Mistakes are inevitable, and progress may feel slow. Developing compassion for our own learning journey fosters a growth mindset, encouraging persistence without self-judgment. The practice develops adaptability in thinking. Translating ideas, negotiating meaning, and understanding different syntactic structures encourage mental flexibility. This adaptability strengthens problem-solving, creativity, and the ability to handle ambiguity in life. Language learning encourages attentiveness to detail. Correct usage of words, grammar, and pronunciation demands focus, improving observation skills and precision in communication. Attention to detail becomes a transferable skill in work, study, and personal projects. English fosters resilience in facing challenges. Communicating in a non-native language can be intimidating, yet each interaction strengthens confidence and perseverance. Learners internalize that challenges are opportunities for growth and skill development. Learning English promotes intellectual humility. Recognizing limitations, seeking clarification, and learning from mistakes cultivate openness to feedback and a willingness to learn continuously. This humility enhances personal growth and social engagement. English learning nurtures curiosity about human experience. Language is intertwined with culture, history, and behavior. Engaging with new words, idioms, and expressions sparks questions, exploration, and a deeper understanding of people and societies. The process strengthens adaptability and thought. Switching between linguistic frameworks develops cognitive flexibility, allowing learners to approach problems and ideas from multiple perspectives. This adaptability enhances creativity, decision-making, and emotional intelligence. Language learning fosters connection. Conversing in English enables communication with people from around the world, bridging cultural gaps and building understanding. These connections expand our social networks and deepen appreciation for global diversity. English encourages reflective thinking. Comparing languages, analyzing meaning, and interpreting context promote introspection and deliberate thought. This reflective habit supports personal development and thoughtful engagement with life. Learning English enhances focus and concentration. Mastering pronunciation, syntax, and vocabulary requires sustained attention. This skill strengthens mental discipline, improving performance in work, study, and other complex tasks. The practice encourages exploration of identity. Expressing thoughts in English invites reflection on personal values, cultural influences, and self-perception. Learners develop deeper awareness of who they are and how they relate to others. English learning fosters creativity and expression. Finding ways to communicate nuanced ideas encourages innovative thought, adaptability, and originality. Language becomes a canvas for exploring ideas and perspectives. The process cultivates resilience in social interaction. Engaging in conversations with native and non-native speakers teaches patience, empathy, and flexibility. Learners develop confidence in navigating diverse communicative contexts. English encourages continuous learning. Vocabulary, idioms, and cultural references evolve, creating a habit of curiosity and ongoing intellectual engagement. Lifelong learning becomes a mindset reinforced through language study. The experience fosters global awareness. Exposure to international media, literature, and conversation broadens understanding of world events, cultures, and social dynamics, cultivating informed, open-minded perspectives. Language learning enhances problem-solving abilities. Understanding context, ambiguity, and meaning requires analytical thought and creative approaches. Learners develop strategies that are applicable in many areas of life. English promotes mindfulness in communication. Attention to pronunciation, tone, and meaning cultivates presence and intentionality in interactions. This mindful approach strengthens empathy, clarity, and effectiveness. The process encourages adaptability and mindset. Navigating new vocabulary, grammar rules, and idiomatic expressions trains mental flexibility, fostering resilience and innovation in diverse situations. Learning English strengthens cognitive resilience. Encountering unfamiliar structures and expressions challenges the brain to adapt, promoting neuroplasticity and enhanced learning capacity. English fosters openness to experience. Exposure to diverse cultural references, perspectives, and linguistic nuances encourages curiosity, empathy, and flexibility in thinking and behavior. The practice develops patience and perseverance. Consistent effort over time reinforces the mindset that meaningful growth emerges through dedication, reflection, and persistence. Learning English nurtures confidence in self-expression. As learners become more fluent, they gain the courage to share ideas, ask questions, and participate in meaningful dialogue, building self-assurance across contexts. The experience fosters critical thinking. Interpreting text, conversation, and context develops analytical skills, enabling learners to assess information thoughtfully and make informed decisions. English learning encourages empathy across cultures. Understanding linguistic and cultural differences promotes sensitivity, adaptability, and a deeper appreciation for diversity in thought and experience. Learning English fundamentally changes the way we perceive challenges. As we grapple with new vocabulary, unfamiliar grammatical structures, and idiomatic expressions, we confront obstacles that push the boundaries of our comfort zones. These challenges teach us patience and persistence, showing us that growth does not occur instantly but accumulates gradually, like layers of understanding built over time. With each conversation, each carefully constructed sentence, and each corrected mistake, we internalize the idea that obstacles are opportunities rather than setbacks, that effort and consistency are the keys to mastery. And that resilience is as much a mental exercise as it is a linguistic one. In this way, the language learning journey mirrors life itself, complex, unpredictable, and ultimately rewarding for those willing to embrace the process. Engaging deeply with English reshapes how we think about the world. Each word carries with it nuances, connotations, and cultural significance that challenge us to reconsider our assumptions and broaden our perspectives. Learning to differentiate subtle shades of meaning encourages cognitive flexibility, teaching us that ideas, emotions, and experiences cannot always be neatly categorized. This awareness translates into our approach to everyday life. We become more thoughtful, more reflective, and more open to alternative viewpoints. English becomes not merely a tool for communication, but a lens through which we examine and understand the complexity of human experience, prompting intellectual growth alongside linguistic competence. Learning English also nurtures empathy in profound ways. By exploring literature, media, and conversations in English, we inhabit the minds of people from diverse backgrounds, grappling with their fears, joys, hopes, and struggles. This immersion allows us to experience life from perspectives vastly different from our own, fostering a sense of connection that transcends geography and culture. Empathy learned through language is active. It requires attention, imagination, and emotional engagement. Over time, this practice of understanding others' experiences enhances our ability to navigate relationships, respond to challenges compassionately, and approach conflicts with sensitivity and insight. The process of acquiring English strengthens creativity. When translating ideas, expressing complex emotions, or searching for the perfect word, we engage in acts of invention that stretch our imagination. Each linguistic choice becomes a mini-experiment, a chance to explore alternative expressions and refine our understanding of nuance. This creative flexibility enhances problem-solving skills beyond language, teaching us to approach obstacles with innovative thinking and to consider multiple solutions in any given situation. English becomes a playground where cognitive agility and imaginative thinking intersect, sharpening both the mind and the capacity for original expression. English learning transforms our approach to failure and uncertainty. Mispronunciations, Grammatical errors and misunderstood idioms are inevitable, yet they provide crucial lessons in humility and perseverance. Instead of seeing mistakes as evidence of inadequacy, learners learn to view them as integral to the process of growth. This reframing cultivates a growth mindset in which effort, experimentation, and reflection are valued above immediate perfection. The language classroom becomes a safe space for risk-taking, teaching us that stepping into discomfort is essential for progress, and that resilience emerges from embracing uncertainty rather than avoiding it. Studying English enhances our awareness of thought itself. The process of forming sentences, selecting words, and interpreting meaning requires attention to cognitive patterns and mental processes. We begin to notice how ideas are structured, how assumptions shape our understanding, and how language influences perception. This meta-awareness encourages introspection, prompting questions about how we think, why we communicate in certain ways, and how our understanding of the world is filtered through linguistic frameworks. English becomes not only a tool for expression, but also a mirror for self-exploration, guiding us toward deeper clarity and self-understanding. Learning English fosters global awareness and cultural sensitivity. Exposure to media, literature, and conversation from different countries illuminates the values, norms, and worldviews of diverse societies. Engaging with these perspectives challenges ethnocentric thinking and encourages openness, humility, and curiosity about ways of life beyond our own experience. Over time, learners develop a mindset that is not only informed but empathetic, capable of navigating cross-cultural interactions with respect and understanding. Language learning, in this sense, is inseparable from global citizenship, expanding both knowledge and emotional intelligence. The journey of English learning strengthens mindfulness and focus. Attention to pronunciation, rhythm, intonation, and contextual meaning requires sustained engagement and concentration. Practicing these skills cultivates awareness not only of language, but also of communication in general. We become more attuned to subtleties in tone, gestures, and context, improving both verbal and nonverbal understanding. This mindful approach enhances the quality of interactions, deepens comprehension, and cultivates patience and attentiveness, skills that enrich every facet of life beyond the realm of language. English learning nurtures confidence in ways that extend far beyond speaking or writing. Each successful conversation, each understood phrase, and each correctly applied expression reinforces belief in our own abilities. Confidence grows not only from achievement, but from the willingness to engage, to take risks, and to embrace vulnerability. This self-assurance becomes a transferable skill, shaping how we approach challenges, pursue goals, and engage with others. Through language, we learn to trust in our capacity to adapt, communicate, and thrive in unfamiliar situations. Finally, learning English teaches us the profound value of curiosity. Every new word, idiom, or cultural reference sparks questions and exploration. The pursuit of understanding drives engagement, broadens intellectual horizons, and cultivates a love of learning that persists beyond the language itself. Curiosity nurtured through English encourages lifelong exploration, reinforcing the idea that growth is continuous, knowledge is expansive, and understanding requires both courage and attention. In embracing curiosity, learners develop a mindset that is adaptable, resilient, and open to the endless possibilities of the world around them. In the end, learning English is not merely about acquiring a new language, it is about reshaping how we think, perceive, and interact with the world. It fosters empathy, resilience, curiosity, creativity, and confidence. Each word learned, each conversation practiced, and each new perspective encountered transforms not only our communication skills, but also our mindset. By embracing English as more than a tool, we open ourselves to growth, understanding, and a richer, more connected way of experiencing life.